NFL playoffs. Alrighty, let's take a look at this year's NFL playoff bracket. I don't know if you're supposed to call it a bracket, but we're gonna call it a bracket in tonight's video. So, starting out in the AFC wild card game, which is actually kind of annoying that these technically aren't like the official first round games that are called the wild card games. I'm gonna call them the first round because it's really the first round of the playoffs. So, for the AFC, we're gonna start with the left-hand side of the bracket first. The AFC, we have the Browns taking on the Houston Texans. We have the Dolphins taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. We have the Buffalo Bills taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And of course, the number one seeded team in the AFC are the Baltimore Ravens, with maybe the MVP Lamar Jackson waiting for whoever is the lowest seed to come out and face them in the, I guess, official first round of the playoffs, but we're going to call it second round. Hopping over to the other side of the bracket, we have the NFC, which we have the Cowboys facing the Green Bay Packers, the Los Angeles Rams taking on the Detroit Lions. There's going to be a pretty interesting little rivalry matchup there. And the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And of course, the number one seeded team, the San Francisco 49ers, waiting for, again, the lowest seeded team to ever makes it out of the first round, the wild card, to go into facing the number one seeded 49ers. That's going to be a tough matchup for whoever gets in there. Backtracking now. Going back to the AFC, I'm just going to take a look at Bleacher Report and take a look at the games when they start and go in just that specific order. So, the first game on a Saturday, January 13th, we have the Browns taking on the Houston Texans. So, in this video, of course, I'm going to give you guys the stats, the side-by-side, the betting odds, who the crowd, the money, where the money falls on who people think are going to win, and thirdly, my own pick and decision. So, three sort of sides to this angle. Of course, the side-by-side stats. Boy, oh boy, the Cleveland Browns going up against the Houston Texans. Actually pretty close, to be completely honest. When taking a look at side-by-side by stats, they are pretty even. Of course, the Cleveland Browns are first in the NFL when it comes to yards allowed, which means they actually have a really good defense. It's not like they're allowing a lot of yards. They only allowed 270 over the season. Wow, Houston Texans are 14th when it comes to that, allowing 330 yards per game on average. So Cleveland Browns have actually already played the Houston Texans this year. They actually played back on, I think, Christmas Eve. I don't think they played on Christmas Day, but I think it was Christmas Eve. And the Cleveland Browns beat the Houston Texans in that outing, which a lot of people that I've seen, at least on Twitter, different social media apps, are taking that pretty heavily also into account pass yards, 6th in rush yards, 12th in differential. Like, they are just all there when it comes to offense. Maybe, oh well, they're not the best, but they're definitely arguably the best team when it comes to that sort of sense. And also when it comes to their defense, 10th, still top 10 when it comes to yards allowed, which is still pretty impressive. Points allowed, they are 22nd though, kind of allowing a pretty decent amount, but way above average offense, an average defense. That's still a pretty good average. Now when it comes to the other things, what the general public think of what's going to happen, the money line on who will win the game, 78% of people are actually betting on Kansas City to win this game. As of right now, Kansas City is actually the favorite to win this game, minus 3.5. So it seems like the people are betting on the defending NFL champs to turn it up a notch in the final. Time to do it, which is in the playoffs, not the final time, which is if they make the Super Bowl, but the final time to really show out what they got, and that's the playoffs, and that's usually when the Kansas City Chiefs really show out. And it is a lot of different factors when it comes to the Kansas City Chiefs, but we've seen them in this predicament before. The Dolphins we haven't really seen in this kind of scenario before. God, that is a really tough ask, and I also have no idea who is going to win this game. I think this is going to be just a super close game, but if you're asking me right now, Jake Baller, who do I think is going to win this game? A lot of people are saying this team is a pretender. I think they can sneak this one win here. I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs to win against the Dolphins now. This is a major coin flip game. If one team beats the other, it's not an upset or an underdog. It is a even matchup team. It's just who I would trust more, and it's the team that's been here for many, many years and are multiple times Super Bowl winners. On Sunday, we have the Steelers against the Bills. This is also kind of a matchup where you're looking at it on paper and thinking, oh God, yikes. Steelers, pretty average to below average when it comes to a lot of their stats. They were pretty good defensively with points allowed and 13th on rush yards, but everything else is pretty significantly bad. Not even mid. They're just not that great when it comes to that. Where you look at the Bills, pretty solid, pretty much top 10 in all the statistics. The money line being 88% of people betting on this game are betting on the Bills to win this game. And I'm gonna make this quick. Yes, I think the Bills are gonna win this game. Could this be a Bills meltdown? Yes. Would I bet on that though, or pick that though? No. But I mean, again, we've seen the Bills collapse this season. If it would happen, the Steelers are a team that could. But will they? I'm not gonna say yes. So that means the Cleveland Browns are gonna move on to face the Baltimore Ravens in the next round. The Kansas City Chiefs are gonna face off against Buffalo in the second round. Again, don't be surprised if it is Miami going up against Baltimore. Packers, the Green Bay Packers going up against the Dallas Cowboys, who also have the second highest plus-minus gambling odds to what goes down in that game. Right now, the Cowboys are heavily favored, is just what I'm trying to say. With the side-by-side looking stats here, Dallas actually has the number one offense in the entire NFL, putting up 29.9 points per game on average, and basically pretty rocking on all the other stats. With besides the rushing yards of being 14th, their total yards, passing yards, pretty nice. Differential is pretty good too. They're looking pretty good, and Dak Prescott was pretty impressive this year. Now, did the Dallas Cowboys have a pretty easy schedule, and when they did face some pretty good teams, they collapsed? Yes, but I feel like throughout this year, they did show out against a couple of good teams, so I think the Dallas Cowboys this season, probably all Dallas Cowboys fans always say this, this might be their best chance to actually see a Super Bowl. In my opinion, I think that is true. Even taking a look at the betting odds, 80% of the people on the money line are saying the Dallas Cowboys are going to win. I'm saying it. I'm going to pick it. Dallas Cowboys beat the Green Bay Packers. Do I see an upset here? Most likely no, but they are the Dallas Cowboys. So don't be surprised. Next up, we have the Los Angeles Rams taking on the Detroit Lions. Yes, we have Matthew Stafford's return to Detroit to go up against, man, definitely a player that I'm not sure if, really wants to see the LA Rams right now. And Jared Goff, he's probably not always very happy to face off against the Rams, a team that basically said, hey, we don't believe in you. We're going to trade you for someone we do believe in. And that's probably not a good feeling. So this could be a little bit of a scrappy game. Taking a look at the side-by-side stats, actually pretty close. When it comes to the side-by-side stats, I was actually pretty surprised. Being someone who did watch a handful of Rams games, and my dad being a pretty big Rams fan, didn't know they were actually playing pretty okay this year. I saw a lot of their downs throughout the NFL's season, but it actually seems like they played pretty good to even above average. Of course, making their way into the playoffs, you kind of have to be. But the Detroit Lions have been a pretty great team throughout the entirety of the year here. Now, when it comes to the betting odds in this sort of aspect, the Rams actually beat the spread, and they actually beat the money line as well, with nearly 80% of the people betting on the Rams to win this game. Now, take that pretty light in this account because the Lions are the favorites to win, but that just means more people are willing to risk money betting on the underdog Los Angeles Rams. I think a lot of people are expecting an upset here. Jake Baller ASMR, am I expecting an upset here? I have to pick some upsets in this video. I've already picked one, which kind of really wasn't an upset. But I'm going to ride with it. I'm going to go also with the Los Angeles Rams. I feel like this is going to be either a really close Los Angeles Rams win, or the B side, a very bad, almost blowout of a Lions win. I can definitely see both sides of this. If the Lions win, they're going to have to come out here kicking and screaming. They're going to have to come out here crazy and absolutely demolish the Rams. If they let the Rams even think they have a chance to win, I think the Rams might take it. So if the Lions want to win, they're going to have to put the Detroit Lions, they have to put the LA Rams in the dirt in like the first couple quarters. The last game of the wild card, we have the Eagles going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And oh my, is this another very scary game? Now, and looking at their stats, looks like it. But if you look at the betting odds, people are suspecting an upset to occur, with 66% of people betting on the money line that the Buccaneers are going to win this game. Oh man, this is taking into account a road game for the Eagles, who the Eagles on away games are not looking that great. They are 5-4 on the year on away games. Now, of course, Tampa Bay is 4-4, but still, this could be a shaky Eagles team playing on the road, who maybe not be as confident as they should have been going into the end of the year. This would be the team to maybe take them out. Now, Jake Baller, would I bet that the Eagles would lose this game? Oh man, it would be kind of funny to see like a big upset like this, and I'm almost rooting for a big upset like this. I love seeing big upsets in sports. I think they're always really fun to see like a Cinderella team and see what they do. But I don't think it's gonna happen. I'm gonna take the Eagles to win this game. I'm gonna play it safe. I'm gonna play the boopy, stupid, oh Jake, you're taking the easy pick here, blah blah blah. Yes, I'm taking the easy pick. If they do lose, hey, it is what it is, but I'm gonna take the Eagles to win this game. So jumping over to the AFC again, we have the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Cleveland Browns. I'll be taking the Baltimore Ravens winning that game. I think the Browns are okay. I think they are good enough to beat the Texans. I think they might even lose against the Texans. That is kind of a toss-up game, but they are the underdogs. Gotta pick a couple underdog matchups there. I guess on paper they are, but they are not taking out the Baltimore Ravens. Maybe in some cases people would believe it. If you're a big-time Browns fan, I'm sure you believe it as well. Maybe you're a big side insider NFL guy. You know, all the like little, oh, this guy's playing and that guy's not playing. Maybe the Browns could have a shot, but Whoa. I just think the Ravens are that good. Other game going on, though, is where the real battle is. Kansas City Chiefs against the Buffalo Bills. For like the 17th time, it feels like. We have Josh Allen going up against, yes, again, Patrick Mahomes. This might be the last time these two teams are at this sort of level of, like, championship, Super Bowl caliber, where it's like maybe the last dance where it comes to these two guys going up against each other, at least at a very competitive rate. Do I really have a lot of faith in either of these teams to really play up to that crazy level that they used to be back in the day last year, year before that? Not really. Both these teams have just been so shaky and everything. Man. But again, with my sort of last sort of rant I went on with the Dolphins going up against a tough team, moving on to the next round. I just think honestly, if the Kansas City Chiefs can beat the Dolphins in their matchup, playing a team that is arguably also just on that level of Super Bowl contender, I just think the Chiefs will play into another gear to really push themselves into a new, or just not a new one for them, but a mindset of Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl. I'm taking the Chiefs to beat the Bills in the second round, making it a Baltimore Raven versus Kansas City Chief AFC Championship game. Now that might be kind of dumb. I know the Kansas City Chiefs are known as pretenders right now in this current state. But man, it's really, really, really tough out here. Now again, if Miami does beat Kansas City, Miami goes on, in my opinion, to the AFC Championship game, and then I would probably pick Pittsburgh. I'd probably pick Buffalo to see them in the AFC Championship game, where it would be Buffalo against the Dolphins, or in the universe, I guess I'm stating in my picks, taking the Ravens going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. That's what I think is going to happen. Then hopping over to the NFC, we have the Rams taking on the 49ers. This one's going to be fast and easy. 49ers are going to demolish the Rams. Now I do know that the Rams beat the 49ers in the last game of the NFL season, but like, it's the last game of the NFL season. The 49ers already had the number one seed lock. It's not like those guys were really trying their hardest, and they only lost by 1 point when this team is revved up into a playoff mode and mindset. The 49ers love to play the Rams. They always end up finding a way to win, besides obviously the last game that they played, but I just think the Rams are going to probably use everything that they got to take out the Detroit Lions in a pretty big upset if that does happen. So, yeah, 49ers are definitely going to win that game. Moving on to the NFC Championship game. Then we have the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Philadelphia Eagles, where this is also going to be a pretty fun matchup, or at least it could be. Now the Dallas Cowboys taking on Philly. I think the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys already had a matchup going up against each other. If I could take a look about that real quick, where I think the Dallas Cowboys ended up beating the Eagles 33-13, a pretty big destructive loss, which was pretty nasty in my opinion. Jalen Hurts didn't have that great of a game, while Dak Prescott had a pretty solid game. Do I think history will repeat itself? I'm not sure, but this will be, again, a Dallas Cowboy home game going up against an away team of the Philadelphia Eagles, and this is where I think the away team really has a disadvantage. I think I'm gonna pick the Dallas Cowboys. Whoa. I think I'm gonna pick the Dallas Cowboys. I'm taking the Cowboys to beat the Eagles, probably in a pretty close matchup. So I have the 49ers taking on the Dallas Cowboys for the NFC, and for the AFC, I have the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. Alright, I'm actually gonna start on the NFC side of this bracket because an away game in San Francisco going up against the 49ers. Yeah, no offense to the Dallas Cowboys. I'm picking the 49ers to win this game. I feel like on the home field, has anything different right now, unless you're like a big time Eagle fan, or maybe see like a Cinderella story here or there, or maybe seeing, yeah, the Dallas Cowboys making it there, or maybe the Detroit Lions surprising everyone on their very surprising year this year. Jumping over to the other side of the AFC, I have the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Kansas City Chiefs, and oh boy, I think this will be, again, a closer game than people think, and I think having a very good outing for Baltimore, having a pretty good win there against the Browns. Oh man, this could also just be a Kansas City Chief run where they are just locking in, beating some of the best teams in football right now, in the Dolphins and the Bills, two teams that are playing pretty fiery right now. Man, they could just be revving their engines and going, sort of like the train, sort of just chugging, going faster and faster and faster, just building up so much speed and momentum that they're just shooting their way into the Super Bowl. That could definitely be a big sort of thing to think about in this consideration. They are a team that obviously has been there many times before and are ready for it. But as you guys know, there is a little thing going on where, if you look at the Super Bowl colors, they are the colors of the San Francisco 49ers and the Baltimore Ravens. I think I'm also going to go on with that conspiracy theory and saying the Ravens are going to make it to the Super Bowl. I know, Jake Baller, wow, a number one seed going up against a number one seed. You're boring. I'm playing it safe this year. I think this isn't a bad pick. I think, of course, again, like the Dolphins, I could see making it all the way if they do get it past Kansas City. I think the Dolphins would be a pick that I would make if they do get past Kansas City, which is, again, kind of a 50-50 shot, maybe a 60-40 shot if you're a big hater of the Kansas City Chiefs. It does make sense, though. They're not as good as they used to be, but man, I don't know. I wouldn't really think the Bills would make it out, but I think definitely for sure Ravens, and then like Dolphins, Chiefs, Dolphins are definitely my second sort of tier teams to make it out of there. And then for the NFC, I have obviously number one being San Francisco, and then sort of the next tier being Philadelphia or the Dallas Cowboys. So that means in my Super Bowl predictions, I have the 49ers taking on the Baltimore Ravens, and the Baltimore Ravens actually just beat the San Francisco 49ers back. Oh, when was that? That was on Christmas, something like that. They actually just played each other not that long ago, and the Ravens ended up beating the 49ers, which again could be some sort of telltale of what's to come. I think if these teams do match up, I think the Baltimore Ravens are going to be the favorites to win it all. I just don't know if I could think if again, fully healthy both side team, I could really say either team is the favorites or favorite. It's kind of a toss-up again. Oh, man. But you know what? I think if I had to say a winner, just based on my feeling, again, I'm not like a super expert insider. I'm just a dude doing ASMR, trying to whisper ramble about something. Let's just go with the 49ers. No, I'm not going to say let's just go with. I'm going to pick the 49ers to win the Super Bowl this year. I think every year they've been so close, and they've just had so many things go wrong for them. If this team can stay healthy, knock on wood, if this team can stay healthy, I'll pick them to win the Super Bowl. If one thing goes wrong for them, it's going to go downhill so fast. Also, I don't know currently, if they are going into the playoffs hurt or injured. I don't know if any of these teams are. So if they are, definitely let me know down in the comments so I can maybe change my answers down in the comments. Make sure to look in the comments if I did end up changing my answers. But I would definitely love to know your opinion down below in the comments. Who you think is going to make it there, your Super Bowl matchup, sort of like your Cinderella team, your underdog team, different things like that. And also just like the video. If you do like the video, liking the video helps out the video so much. It helps push the video, YouTube's algorithm, all that fun stuff. And yeah, I love ya. And I'll see you